come have fun with us and don't forget to subscribe.
What's up everybody, I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna.
And welcome to our review of the 1938 movie You Can't Take It With You. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is our bucket list channel, a channel in which we try to realize the goals and dreams that are on our bucket list.
All of them.
One of those goals is for us to watch every movie that was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Award from 1927 to 2028. As of now, Anna, we've watched 97 movies on that list and, as of today, finished 11 years. Because this is the last movie of the year 1938. This is actually the winner of Best Picture that year. And so, yeah, we're going to be talking about that movie today, You Can't Take It With You. Released on September 29, 1938, You Can't Take It With You is a Columbia Picture movie adapted from the Pulitzer Prize-winning 1936 play of the same name by George S. Kaufman and Must Artabaut. The film tells the story of a man from a family of rich snobs who becomes engaged to a woman from a good-natured but decidedly eccentric family. Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning play, winner of Best Picture that year, lots of,
Prizes.
exactly linked to this movie. But what about us? What did we think? Did we like it as much as everyone else seems to have at the time?
Well, did you like it?
Well, let me ask you the question. I'm running this show here. Did you like it?
I loved this movie. I thought it was just good all around. Great characters, great story, and also good and well-delivered message.
Yeah, I also really liked it. I think it's very difficult for a movie like this, and I say like this in the sense that the movie is a lot, right? It's a lot of characters, it's a lot of storylines, it's a lot of
Events happening.
yeah, different tones. Like, it's a comedy most of the time, but there's some dramatic element. There's some, like you said, social messages underlying throughout the whole film. And so you would think that it becomes a train wreck very quickly, right?
Right.
Especially,
but it's not the case.
Yeah, especially with the amount of characters,
Oh.
which I think is probably the most surprising thing, is that all of them feel like they've been relatively fleshed out, right?
Yeah, I would say very, very well done. So all the characters, even those that only have one or two scenes or are mostly in the background, feel like very real characters. Nobody is there just to fill up the screen, you know? Everybody has a little story. Everybody, even if there is just that one scene with that character, it's enough for you to understand who the character is, what's their personality, where they come from, why they're there, and everybody is relevant to either the story or the message of this movie. So I think that is so difficult to do, and this movie has done it absolutely amazingly.
And I think a big part of that is, like you just said, the word personality. Each character has such a distinctive and unique personality that you can't forget them or mix them up with someone else, right? Sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, who was that guy in the background, the third friend? Like, they're all kind of interchangeable. But here, like, whether it's the daughter who likes to dance, the mom who has, several random passions. The guy who plays with explosive, like the dad. Everyone has either this one core element to their personality that makes you remember them, or they're part of the central story, so they're there enough time for you to remember them. And so even if we talk about like the main female character played by Jean, she's not like as eccentric as the rest of her family, but the character is still fleshed out, right? And the storyline that she's in, the love storyline, is still fleshed out. We get some time, like, just her alone with her couple to see what's happening there. The grandpa, same thing, right? He's not as eccentric as everyone else, but still, you spend enough time with him to get to know him.
But at the same time, if you think of a more minor character, like that one guy that the grandfather picks up from the office and brings him home, we really only see him in two scenes, and he is just in the background sometimes. But that one scene when he's introduced is like enough to establish his character. Like, we immediately realize, what he's doing there, what's his job, what's his passion, what is his motivation, all of that. And so when we see him making that one decision to leave his job to go with the grandfather, you immediately understand why.
This, we're talking about the characters, but it also applies to the story elements, right? We mentioned earlier that there are so many different, story points. The synopsis kind of described it more in terms of the couple, right? The Romeo and Juliet dynamic, right? The two families who don't match and the two kids who are in love within those families. But you could have also told this movie, like the synopsis, through the lens of the grandfather, for example, right? Or the rich Kirby dad, right? Each of those stories seems as important as the love story, right?
Yeah, and while I would say, I don't know from my point of view, that the grandfather is the main character of this movie, you could easily tell this story from the point of view of several characters. Like, I don't feel like any of them is like stealing the show from everyone else. They share it equally among themselves.
Yeah. So speaking of stealing the show and characters, right? We've been naming a few of them, calling them by obscure name, sister, grandfather, mother. Let's take a look at who those people are and who plays them. Who's behind this movie, really? The movie was directed by Frank Capra. Once again, another Frank Capra joint.
He's quickly becoming one of my favorite directors out there.
Yeah, and Frank Capra, he's been busy in terms of Best Picture nominated movies. We've seen his work in Lady for a Day, It Happened One Night, Mr. Deed Goes to Town, and Lost Horizon. And you say he's quickly becoming one of your favorites. It was quickly at the time becoming one of the Academy's favorite in terms of winning awards. He won for this movie the award for Best Director, which means that this was Capra's third Oscar for Best Director in just 5 years.
Wow, I feel like that might be a record.
Yeah, so he also got it for It Happened One Night and Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. Movie stars Jean Archer as Alice Sycamore. We'll remember her from Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. So we were mentioning, right, the girl in love, the main female character. This is her. What did you think of her performance, her character?
She is the one element that brings together these two, different worlds. Her family with their peculiar hobbies and lifestyle, and her fiance from the rich family of bankers. And when the movie started, I thought she would be that character that is like looking for a better lifestyle or something like this, but it's not. While she doesn't share her family's
most
attitude,
eccentric point.
Exactly.
Yeah. She's pretty normal.
Right. She works in an office.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she doesn't deny them.
Mm-hmm.
So when she does end up in this position of having to defend her family against her fiance's parents, she stands up for them, for her family, and for what they all believe in, because she also believes in it. So I thought it was very interesting. Like, it's a character that you quickly come to like and get behind and understand.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And in my opinion, right, you're speaking of characters you quickly come to like. That award for me goes to Lionel Barrymore's character, Grandpa Martin Vanderhoff. Lionel Barrymore, of course, we saw him in the Hollywood Review of 1929, Grand Hotel, David Copperfield, Captain's Courageous, and just the movie before Test Pilot. Before we talk about his character and his portrayal of the character, interesting fact, so Lionel Barrymore in the movie, he's on crutches the whole time, right? Barrymore's real-life infirmity was incorporated into the plot of the film. In the movie, they say that he sprained his ankle or something. In real life, people were saying that he was in crutches due to an accident, but in reality, it was due to increasing arthritis, which made him even turn down a role in Christmas Carol earlier that year.
I feel like the fact that he was, using crutches to walk made his character like so interesting. I was sure that was made for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think that they had to put it there.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that they actually found a way to work around it and keep him in the
movie because he's great.
Because he's great. Like, this is his role so much.
And it adds a layer, like you said, of likability to the character, right? You want to empathize with him even more, right? Because he's hurt, and he's literally, right, the hurt old man fighting against the giant rich business mogul. I really like his character also because he's at the center. We've talked about social themes earlier before, but also there's this general theme in the movie of, live life like you want to live it, right?
Right.
Have fun, do the things you want to do. If what you want to do is, like in the case of Anthony P. Kirby, be a business guy who's rich, because that's what he wanted to do, then that's fine. But if what you want to do is blow up fireworks
in the basement,
do that too. Well,
right.
Make sure you have a license. He's at the center of all of that, right? At a moment in his life, he left the business world and because it wasn't fun and decided to just try to pursue his dream and things that would make him happy. This channel is kind of that, right?
Right, that's what we're all about.
This is a goal channel, a dream channel, right? We're trying to do the things that make us happy, try to realize the dreams that we've always had, or do some activities that we've always wanted to do. And so I really connected with the character and with his message.
I really liked about his character that he doesn't, become pitiful. Like, he's not lamenting about how, I wish I could do this. I always wanted to do that, but like, it's so hard. It's hard to sustain your passions if you don't have money, if you don't have whatever, this kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter to him, not even in a defensive way. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's
more of a find a way kind of guy, right?
Exactly.
We'll find a way. When the guy asks him, like, how am I going to live if I quit my job? It's like, like we do. We manage somehow, right?
Right, exactly. So I really like that. Like, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful way of telling his story.
Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of the aisle, right, we've been talking about two families. There are these eccentric family who are chasing their dreams. And then there's the Kirby, the rich ones. We have James Stewart playing Tony Kirby, the counterpart to Jane Arthur. And we have Edward Arnold playing Anthony P. Kirby, the dad, who's a highlight of this movie, in my opinion. One of the highlights of this movie.
Such a complex character, and one of the characters with like a change of heart, a story arc. Arnold, I feel, had to play such a varied, array of emotions throughout this movie that I thought was very interesting, and it made for an interesting character to follow, especially because his change happens like slowly, gradually, and you can definitely tell like the expressions that he has when he's starting to realize the things, the situations, what is happening to him, like what connecting with this family, this very passionate family is teaching him. I feel is so well done.
Definitely. I think it takes a certain kind of actor to manage to have you hate him towards the middle of the movie, and then at the end of the movie be so on his side, right?
I don't think I ever really hated him, but he made me angry more than hate. But I guess it depends on how you look at things, but it definitely...
Hate is probably a strong word, but you see what I mean, right?
Yeah.
He was the antagonist.
Right.
And then by the end of the movie, you're kind of like, oh no, he's a good guy. He just wants to have his son with him, right?
However, he always had one element that made him feel more realistic, rather than a guy who was only like chasing money and then suddenly realized the importance of relationships and family. But it wasn't that simple, because he also mentions that being a businessman, doing business, was his passion. Yeah. That's what he always wanted to do, and he was good at it. So that made me think that he did have this one element that was common.
He also was one of those chasing the dream, right?
Right, exactly. He just needed to realize that while he was chasing his dream, and sure, his dream made him rich, everybody should have the right to chase their own dream, including his
own son. Because in a sense, right, it's the kids who have to go through that journey of getting free of whatever is holding them and pursuing their dream. In the case of the daughter, her dream is to be with the Kirby son and marry him and have a family or whatever she might want. And in the case of the son, he wants to be with her, but he also wants to do his idea of solar energy and studying plants, right?
Yeah.
So very interesting character. Rounding up our crew here, we have Spring Byington as Penelope, or Penny Sycamore. We'll remember her from Little Women, Mutiny on a Bounty, Dodsworth, and Jezebel. Byington was nominated for the Best Supporting Actress Academy Award for this role. And I think that's a pretty nice role to get a nomination out of. She looked like she was having a blast the whole time.
Oh yeah, she was so invested in that role, so energetic, you could definitely feel it. Yeah, I can see her getting that nomination, definitely.
Yeah. So we already talked about a few nominations that the movie got. It got some more. It got 7 nominations actually and 2 wins. We know the 2 win, of course, Best Picture or Outstanding Production as it was known back then. Best Director for Frank Capra. Best Supporting Actress Spring Byington. Best Screenplay for Robert Riskin based on a play by George S. Kaufman and Must Art. Best Sound Recording John P. Liverdery. Best Cinematography Joseph Walker, and Best Film Editing, Gene Avlick. Lots of nominations.
Yes.
And the big win, of course, Best Picture. We'll see when we get to our ranking whether we agree with that or not. The movie was, a commercial success and was also adapted for radio play in 1939. Anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to mention, a subject you'd want to touch on about this movie?
Yes, actually, there is one scene that I would like to talk about in particular, and that is the courtroom scene where the two families are there together. They got caught up in this little mess.
Yeah, revolution and
Right.
illegal fireworks.
And illegal fireworks, yes. And the reason why I want to mention this scene is because, first of all, I really liked how that scene was set. And I feel like maybe that's where you feel the most that this movie is really an adaptation of a play.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally the placement of the characters was very theatrical in a way. We have in the middle the rich family with like literally a wall of lawyers in front of them to defend them, and then on the side we have the I want to say they're poor, but like the normal family.
Yeah. Normal. Yeah.
Yeah. With no one to defend them, no one to represent them, and you can definitely tell that they're like so kind of lost and
out of their element.
Exactly. They're not even sure what to do there. They're all over the place. But then when the time comes for them to defend themselves, the rich family with all the lawyers is having trouble defending themselves. But when the passionate family, let's say, has to defend themselves, you realize that everyone who is present in the courtroom is actually there for them and starts defending them. They plead guilty, but then in the end, it turns out that everyone is willing to pay
the fine for them.
The fine
right.
for them, exactly. And the reason why I like this scene so much, other than the fact that you see so obviously the parallel between these two families, is that that's where you see the Kirby father having his change of heart not for the first time, but where it becomes
it hits
obvious.
him. Yeah.
It hits him exactly, because while he's there, almighty and powerful, he realizes really how alone he is, while this other guy and his family, who really in his eyes don't do anything that important, they're just like doing their little passion projects on the side, have all of these people there to support them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that it was great, and from there on, you see his character changing little by little. But that's the first moment when you really feel it, and I really liked it.
But that follows directly, right? The scene in the prison where Lionel Barrymore's character screams at him and tell him that in the end, all your money will serve nothing because you'll have no friend, you'll end up alone. And here he has the realization, right? He has all of these friends. Lionel Barrymore has all of these friends with him, willing to pay the fine. They don't mind. And meanwhile, he's alone with his family and his lawyers, right? The lawyers are there because he paid them. They're not his friend. They're not there out of the goodness of their heart, right? And of course, the change of mind is completed when his son decides to leave the company and leave him, right? But yeah, you're right. Really interesting scene. So, Anna, would you recommend this movie?
I would definitely recommend it. I think it is great. And one more thing that we didn't talk about is how well balanced this movie is in terms of, having a deep message, but at the same time, it's a comedy. And of course, not to say that a comedy can have a deep message, but I feel like this movie balances these two elements as well as several other elements of the movie so well.
Yeah, I would recommend it too. That's definitely a good movie. Frank Capra, once again, does not disappoint. Go watch it if you haven't seen it already, or if we haven't spoiled it too much for you. Time for the ranking. For every Academy Award year, we rank the movies that were nominated for Best Picture that year. Right now, we're doing the 1938 movie, the 11th Academy Awards. And as of now, our list is at number 9, The Citadel, number 8, Four Daughters, number 7, Boys Town, number 6, Pygmalion, number 5, Jezebel, number 4, The Adventures of Robin Hood, number 3, Alexander's Ragtime Band, number 2, Test Pilot, and number 1, La Grande Illusion. So, Anna, where would you put You Can't Take It With You?
I would put it at number 2.
Yeah, I agree. I was hesitating right between number 2 or number 3 because Test Pilot was a very good movie too.
Yeah. I also really like Test Pilot, but I feel like You Can't Take It With You is more complex of a movie. It has more elements in general, and all of those elements are good.
Yeah, it's the balancing out that we've talked about several times during this review that is done really well here and could have blow up in their face pretty easily. So it's impressive that they managed to make a good movie out of like all these characters, all these storylines, all these elements.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 2 it is. Once again, the winner of the year is not our winner.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like, first off, it was almost there, but La Grande Illusion is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's uncomparable to, most of the things that we have watched so far as part of this goal. I'm not really mad with the fact that this movie won. Like, I feel like I was so ready to be disappointed by the winner.
I think La Grande Illusion should have won by a mile.
Yeah.
And I think you're being too diplomatic.
Am I?
The Academy is wrong once again. And we're in for another 80 years, 90 years of them being wrong, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. And if you think of how great this movie is and really took them another, 90 years, like you said, to give a win to a foreign...
For a foreign language movie, right? Yeah, I retract my words, right? The Parasite should have won and it won. So they learned. Our new ranking is number 10, The Citadel. Number 9, Four Daughters. Number 8, Boys Town. Number 7, Pygmalion. Number 6, Jezebel. Number 5, The Adventures of Robin Hood. Number 4, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Number 3, Test Pilot. Number 2, You Can't Take It With You. And number 1, La Grande Illusion. That's it for our review of the 1938 movie You Can't Take It With You, and also of our review of 1938, all the movies from that year. Next time we're moving on to 1939. It's exciting times, some very interesting movie to see there. And if you want to be there when we review them, I invite you to subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. Like this video if you did. Comment in the comment section below. Have you seen You Can't Take It With You? What did you think of it? Do you agree with it winning Best Picture? And if you, just like a lot of the people in the Sycamore Vanderhoff family, have a dream or goal you'd want to realize, take that first step.